Hi Heather, what impact has the ISV program had on your life?
Well, ISV has had a really big impact on my life. It's instilled in me a love for travel that I really never knew I had. And it's not just about traveling like a tourist, but really being a socially responsible tourist, a socially responsible traveler, and always trying to give back to the community when I'm out in another country. For example, I went to Peru last summer, and the first week of my trip was a medical mission, and we had to stay with a homestay with a Peruvian family. And before going on ISV, I probably would have been too nervous or scared to stay with completely different people in a new culture. But since going on ISV, I learned so much about other cultures and how open and embracing they are. And I was totally fine staying with a new family, and I had an amazing time. So I think that ISV has really opened my eyes to a new form of traveling, about being socially responsible and also being really eco-friendly. The concept of ecotourism was something that I learned while working with Pablo in the rainforest. And it's pretty much, I always look for sustainable traveling and companies that use environmentally friendly practices, and also companies that try to give back to the local population instead of just going on a trip somewhere where I'm just going to be supporting corporate America, making Americans rich. I really like to try to work with the people in that country. And also, since doing the volunteer project in Costa Rica, I think it really has changed the way I live my life at home also. For example, with Pablo, he was really into conservation, and that's something that I feel passionate about as well. And when we were in Costa Rica, we were always taking cold showers because we didn't have hot water, and they just thought that using the energy to heat the water was useless. And when I think about it, it really is useless. There's no point to burn those extra fuels to heat the water when it's already really hot outside. There's no point. So when I got home from that trip, I started taking cold showers also, just to make one little step to help the environment out. And I think it's just little things like that that ISV has taught me, and that has really impacted my life. Okay, what's the next question? No, the next question. Keep going. Just keep going.
What kind of volunteer work did you do, and what did your group accomplish during those 2 weeks?
Okay, so I've been on 2 ISV trips. First, I'll talk about my first one, which was in Costa Rica. It was an environmental conservation project. And first, let me just describe the environment that we were at. There was 9 of us. We took this tiny little motorboat, like 2 or 3 hours across the ocean to arrive to our beautiful beach. It was a completely untouched, beautiful beach up to a lush rainforest. It was absolutely beautiful, probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And we were like, oh my gosh, this is where we're going to be staying for 2 weeks. This is amazing. And it was truly, truly amazing. So that was just our location. But then the actual work that we were doing, we were working with a tropical rainforest biologist, and he was studying rainforest regeneration, and specifically he was studying how the animals that live in the rainforest drop fruit and seeds that help regenerate the forest. So what our task was, we would go on these hikes through the rainforest. We would go on 2 hikes a day. They were really long, like 3 or 4 hours long, and we would sit there, well, not sit, we were walking, and we would just walk through the rainforest, and we would listen for monkeys, and we would count them. That was our job. We would count monkeys, and we would count parrots, and occasionally when they would drop something, we would pick it up and give it to Pablo, and he would be like, oh, this is this type of seed, that type of food. So Pablo's project is still going today. It's going to be, the data from this project is going to be used and given to the Costa Rican government, and it's going to be used to lobby for environmental conservation and stop logging and just preserving the rainforest. So that was my first project. Okay, so after doing that, I loved it so much. I had such an amazing time. I decided to return to ISV, and I loved the Latin American country so much, so I went to the Dominican Republic. This time I chose to do more of a humanitarian project. And what we did this time, it was the Rancho Campeche project. What we did, there was 2 parts to it. One was construction, where we built a basketball court. Where we built a basketball court, and we built, and we made a park, and then also we did a summer camp / school with the local Dominican children. And the summer camp part was really, really rewarding. The kids were so excited that we were there, and if we weren't there, they wouldn't have had anything to do all summer long, basically. They probably just would have been out in the neighborhood, like, causing trouble or being bored or whatever. So I think we really helped them. We taught them games, we taught them a little bit of English, and they also helped us so much. Like, with those kids, you realize how little they have, but how happy they can still be. It's really amazing. A lot of the kids didn't even have shoes, and the school is the play yard is all gravel, and they didn't have shoes, and they're running around playing games, and some of them were jump roping, and I was asking them, doesn't that hurt? You're not wearing shoes? They're like, no, it doesn't hurt. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it has to hurt. So I took off my shoes, and I jump roped, and it hurt really bad, and I'm like, oh my gosh, those kids are so amazing. Like, I don't understand how they can do this. But those kids, I think, honestly, that they probably taught us more than we taught them, and that was something that was just like, it was just such a valuable experience working with them. Okay, and on for the construction of the basketball court. It was tough labor, but it was fun also. We would be scooping cement and singing and playing games, and we were lucky enough to be the group that actually finished the basketball court. So that was awesome, because there had been previous groups that, got a quarter of the way done, got halfway done, but we got to finish, and we got to have a grand opening party of the basketball court, which was really cool because all the townspeople came and all the kids came, and it was just a big celebration of singing and thanking us, and they sang a song about "Thank You Americans," and there are some people in our group that were from Australia and UK, and they did not like that "Thank You Americans" song, which I understand, but it was just a really fun time. And then also, unfortunately, the net wasn't able to get delivered, so we couldn't actually play basketball, which was a bummer, but the kids were playing air ball and just like practicing, just pretending it was there. Like, they didn't even care that we didn't get to completely finish the court. So it was really an amazing experience, and that's what we accomplished in our volunteer trip.
If you were speaking to a group of students who were interested in traveling with ISV, what benefits would you tell them they would receive from volunteering with ISV?
Well, there are so many benefits to be gained. Definitely just seeing a culture, experiencing a culture, a new place in a different way, and being able to positively impact those people that live there. It's really a great benefit. You're helping other people, and you feel so rewarded, and then you also just how much you learn about other cultures is a really big benefit. I also think you just learn about how we're really materialistic in America and how much we use that we really don't need. So it's just really an eye-opening experience. And you also get to benefit from making really great friends with the other travelers on your trip. I'm still friends with some of the people from my first trip that I went on over 6 years ago, so that's another benefit. And then, I don't know if I'm supposed to include the adventure tour part in this, but the adventure tour part is amazingly fun. It's incredible, exhilarating journey, probably unlike anything you've ever experienced. And so that's another really great benefit, just because it's so fun.
What is important to you about a job?
Okay, a little change of pace here. So, what I look for in a job, I really like to feel like I am helping somebody, because it makes me feel good, it makes them feel good, and I think that just knowing what I'm doing makes a difference for somebody is really important to me. I also like, in a job, I also like variety. I don't like doing one thing over and over again. I like working on different projects and being creative and being able to express myself. And then also, it's always important that a job challenges you a little bit. Just using your brain, keeping you on your toes, I think that's really important. And lastly, I think it's important that you believe in what you're doing and that your beliefs align with the mission of the company. I think that's something that's really important in a job.
How do you know when you're doing a good job?
Okay, how do I know? Well, definitely, I know I'm doing a good job if I get positive feedback from people, like my boss or my coworkers say something. Also, when you're working with people, if they're a client or a patient, if you get positive feedback from them, but they might not necessarily verbally say, hey, you're doing a good job, but you can tell the way that they act, their body language, if they're happy, and you can tell if you're doing a good job. Also, I always try to set my own goals and my own expectations for myself, and if I reach those goals, then I know that I'm doing a good job. You know, usually you'll have goals that maybe your boss sets or that your company sets, and they might be more long-term, but I like to set more short-term goals, and if I reach those, then, you know I'm doing a good job. And that's pretty much it. So, thank you very much for listening to my interview, and I really, really love ISV, as I'm sure you can tell, so I hope I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.